Why is nobody buying my food?
In the old but lively town of Ayetoro, where everyone knew everyone, there was a woman called Iyabasira, a woman whose rice became more popular than weddings, more desired than gold, and more dangerous than poison. But as the elder says, when a food is sweeter than normal, ask questions. Iyabasira was once happy. She married young, she loved deeply, she cooked with joy. Then death visited her house. Her husband died suddenly, leaving her with 2 young children. No land, no savings, no protection. People sympathized at first, then slowly forgot. Iyabasira tried many things just to make a living. She tried selling pepper and firewood and many other business, but nothing worked. At night, hunger became her prayer partner. She began to talk to herself. Is suffering my destiny? That question opened the door. Iyabasira decided to start selling cooked rice in the market because other rice seller makes a lot of money from it. Iyabasira wakes up early in the morning to prepare rice and take to the markets, hoping customers will stop. But day after day, people passed her by. Her rice was ordinary, not bad, but not special. Sometimes one person would stop, look into her pot, shake their head and walk away. Hours passed, the sun climbed higher, her hope slowly sank. When evening came and no miracle happened, Iyabasira packed her unsold food back home. She did this again and again, day after day, until disappointment became normal. At home, she shared the rice with her children. Some days the food was still good, other days the rice had stayed too long to spoil. Yet hunger had no pride. They ate in silence, forces minds where joy no longer lived. Her children asked gently, "Mama, why didn't anyone buy today?" Iyabasira would turn her face away so they would not see her tears. At night when the children slept, she sat alone on the floor. She counted the little money she had left, knowing it was not enough for tomorrow. That was when the tears came freely. She cried until her chest ached and her eyes burned. She prayed quietly, "God, I am tired. I am trying. Please remember me." But money always returned with the same struggle. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and still nothing changed. Hope stayed alive, not because it was strong, but because Iyabasira had no other choice. She woke up every morning before the rooster crowed. She washed her pots, cleaned her stand, and cooked her rice with the little ingredients she could afford. Each day, she told herself the same words, "Maybe today will be different." She carried her pots to the roadside with tired legs and a heavy heart. She arranged her stall neatly and sat patiently, watching people pass. She watched customers stop at other sellers' tables, laugh, eat, and praise their food, while her own pot remained untouched. Slowly, envy entered her heart. She began to compare herself to other food sellers who were rich, admired, and respected. That was when someone whispered a suggestion. One evening, an old woman approached Iyabasira quietly. She said, "If you want your food to sell like magic, I know someone." Desperation closed Iyabasira's wisdom. Not quickly, not confidently, but with the slow steps of someone whose heart was already tired of fighting. They left the familiar paths of the town and entered the forest where sunlight struggled to touch the ground. The air became thick, and the silence felt heavy, as though the trees themselves were listening. Even the birds refused to sing. With every step Iyabasira took, fear whispered to her to turn back, but hunger pushed her forward. At the deepest parts of the forest, they stopped before a small isolated clearing. There, sitting calmly as if he had been expecting her, was a spiritual man feared by many and spoken of only in hushed tones. People warned their children never to go near his path, yet in the darkness of night many still found their way to him. His eyes were deep and unreadable. His voice was low and steady, carrying the weight of hidden knowledge. He listened to Iyabasira without interrupting as she poured out her suffering, the empty store, the hungry children, the endless shame. When she finished, he nodded slowly as though her pain was familiar to him. Then he spoke. He promised her the things her heart had longed for. Fame that would make her name known in every corner of the town. Customers who would line up before her pots touched to fire. Money that would silence hunger and shame. Respect that would replace pity. But after each promise, he paused. Then he said calmly, "Nothing comes free." The forest seemed to breathe around them. He leaned forward and spoke in a voice barely above a whisper. "Your rice must carry special ingredients. What is rejected by humans attracts spirits. What people throw away is what gives power." Iyabasira's body grew cold. Her heart raced as her mind struggled to understand his words. She knew without asking further questions that this was not an ordinary path. Her conscience screamed for her to stand up and run, to return to her small store and her honest suffering. He warned, "Once you start, you cannot stop easily." She hesitated. She remembered her children's thin face. She remembered the empty pots. She remembered the laughter of customers walking past her store. The man waited patiently. He did not rush her. He knew hunger speaks louder than wisdom. At last, with shaking lips and a bowed head, Iyabasira agreed. And at that moment, she did not know that she had not just made a decision. She had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. From the first day she followed the instructions, everything changed. The aroma of her rice traveled before our pots arrived. People smelled it from afar. People abandoned other sellers. Queue formed before sunrise. Drivers parked wrongly. Market women fought for space. Customers licked their fingers unconsciously. People said, "Iyabasira rice has entered my blood." She sold out before noon. Money filled her purse. Pride filled her heart. The rice tasted unexplainably sweet. People felt comfortable. People felt calm. People felt possessed by appetites. Iyabasira became famous. Songs were sung. If you've not eaten Iyabasira's rice, you've not eaten rice. People traveled from nearby village to taste this famous rice. Iyabasira stopped greeting people humbly. She mocked other sellers. Her pride grew faster than her wealth. Days passed, weeks passed, months passed. Iyabasira became more popular. She got more customers and made more money. But something changed. Her children suffered silently. They cried at night. They lost strength. They became shadows. Iyabasira ignored them. She said, "Money will solve everything." But money cannot heal cause foundations. The children's sickness became worse. Iyabasira invited a local doctor to treat them, but nothing was working. Soon customers complained. Sudden fear, bad dreams, weakness, sickness with no treatment. But still they returned. Addiction had replaced hunger. The elders noticed too many sick people, too many unexplained illness. Whispers spread. Suspicion grew. Not until one day, when one woman who has been suspecting Iyabasira movements followed her home, what she saw surprised everybody. She saw Iyabasira packing her children's excretion, but then she didn't know what she wanted to use it for. Iyabasira just kept it in her locker. The lady went back to her house but kept on following Iyabasira for days to know what she's up to. Not until the day she said to stop following Iyabasira at night, but start going to her house early in the morning when Iyabasira starts cooking. That was when she saw the shock of her life. She saw Iyabasira adding the children's excretion into the food she was cooking while she was saying some incantation. She screamed and everyone around the neighborhood came out and saw what happened. Iyabasira was exposed, and under pressure she confessed everything. She cried, she begged, she blamed poverty. But the elders said, hunger does not excuse wickedness. Her store was destroyed, her wealth disappeared, her name became a warning. Iyabasira lived, but never lived well again. Her children survived, but never fully healed. She avoided the markets, she avoided the people, she avoided mirrors. Regret became her companion. Not all success is blessing, not all sweetness is good, not all doors should be open. Till today, Eda says, when food is too sweet, ask questions.